Hey guys, Fears here, back with another episode of ridiculous Forza races, I guess. I really don't have a name for this series at this point, so I'm just gonna start saying things. Anyways, today I'll just be showcasing some random online races I had, just random lobbies. You could expect some carnage and chaos from this, obviously. So we're in Byron Bay S1 road racing right now with the 2004 Porsche GT3. It's a pretty rare but also pretty decent car. And we have a very small lineup, to say the least. Only 2 golds and 2 skittles. That's what I call lower level players anyways. So we are starting off in second place. We get to a decently early lead, because the Ferrari has a bit of a worse launch as he weighs a little lighter. This car really excels at handling and pulling out of the turns. Now, I know what's happening here. So I just go pretty wide, and well, what do you know? Both the 2 corner bombers just go really wide. Of course, just casual Forza meme tactics. That is the most lame and most popular one, the corner bomb. Now you see this guy's at his right again in this corner, but I'm smart enough to go wide. He almost booted me off there again. So since he's going super wide, I have an opportunity for an overtake, but he basically hogged the racing line. I don't have an opportunity. So now I just stay on his inside, but of course, and now he's on the outside, but he doesn't respect racing lines, so he has to force me deep inside and have to brake. Now this dude isn't even running arrows, but obviously he's not that good of a tune, to be honest. Now he excels on straight line speed a little bit. I excel in corners though. I go a little wide here, so I have to cut back over the curb. And we go here through second lap. I take this corner pretty decent as well. You could see him deja vuing straight through the hairpin. And up here through the small little chicane section here, he starts drifting a little bit some more, and he goes really wide. So I have another opportunity for an overtake, but instead I just barely stay on his bumper the whole time. Now, obviously he goes really wide, so I cannot overtake from the outside as I am better handling, but I go for a nice cutback on the inside, and I'm able to pass him. Nothing else really happened in this race, to be honest. I nailed a couple apexes, and I was eventually pretty far away from him, where I could just slow down my pace a little bit, and I just won the race. Also, 2 people left. On to the second race now. We are at Southside Circuit in Surfer's Paradise S1 road racing. I'm in the Twerk Stallion, which is a decent road racing car. It can drift, it can grip, it could hit walls, it could do whatever the heck you want if you can drive it properly. We are starting off in about 8th place, I'm pretty sure. And off to the classic Forza messy start. We have a couple rammers here and there, and we have a Lamborghini that glitches into a wall. And we somehow pass all of them, and we get up to an early second place. And I start to catch the 4GT, but he has better braking than me. And up the inside, we see a good old rally car on some road racing take the turn way too fast down the inside and miss a checkpoint. So he gets sent back into the shadow realm again of the previous checkpoint. Now, this car doesn't have the best cornering, but its straight line speed is ridiculous. So you can pass about anybody on any kind of circuit or sprint race. I'm taking these corners about just as well as I can, but of course I'm not the best driver in the world, so if you make your own tune for this car, you'll probably be better off with it. I did share it to my storefront though if you want to give it a shot, as well as the Porsche GT3 tune. Now, I like this car a lot because it's just really easy to drive. It steers, turns in perfectly, it has almost 1,000 horsepower from a nice sounding V8. It's just overall a fun experience. We go wide here, tap a pole to send it back to them so they can hit it and lose their skill chains, because that's the kind of driver I am sometimes when I get into random lobbies. And this car is also very easy to brake. It just responds very well. It doesn't drift out unexpectedly. It also has a really good launch off the start, as you could see from about a minute earlier. Now, just because I'm in a good car doesn't mean that I'll be good. As you can see here, I barely grazed that checkpoint and then profusely missed the next one because of how bad I am. I stay in the pause menu here to get a faster respawn, but my luck has completely run out and I drop back down to 4th place. Now, since we're ghosted, we have an opportunity to pass the 4GT, but I am in 80 Delta and I do not take it. So I stay wide here, so I'm able to put forward a nice cut back here, but I screw it up again and I miss a second checkpoint. Now I start to back up, which I should have just waited for the respawn because then it would have been faster. And now we are down to about 6th or 5th place, actually. The Ford GT is lagging all of creation because of his public Wi-Fi that about 100 people are probably on right now. He is going through the walls. He looks like he's freaking teleporting through everything. Anyways, we make a pretty easy pass on him, regardless. Now, it looks like he is some weird spirit ghosting through the floor every 5 seconds. Now we're on to the third lap. Let's try to get a nice lap time here. We absolutely nail the braking zone, tap the curb a little bit, but we pretty much dodge his wall riding antics, as you just saw there. I kind of expect him to do that a little bit, because like he just ripped the handbrake and freaking 10 blocked into the wall there a little bit. And now he's on our butt again. He's probably going to go for the same thing, so let's just see how good I can juke him, if we can juke him at all. Now into this next corner, we get a nice American touch from the Ford GT on our bumper. He goes really wide and tries to put us into a wall. I am smarter than him though, and I brake a little bit, and he goes and gives the wall just ahead a nice big smooch and goes for some nice wreckage points, I assume. He actually slowed himself more down than I did. Anyways, now we are neck and neck with this little Talbot here. He takes the apex, I go wide, but I mess up my racing line, so he takes me on the final straightaway a little bit. That pretty much sums up the second race. On to the third race now. We're starting in pole position. Just because I'm first on the grid doesn't mean that I'm not going to get rammed from behind by some idiotic driver that does not have a license. Anyways, we go off to a pretty quick start, but I know exactly what's going to unfold in this first corner here. This is like Monza from Forza Motorsport, but in Horizon. Just watch as this Ferrari comes in for a nice smooch in the wall to my left, and I barely miss him. The Ford GT goes a little inside, so we can easily get him on the outside. So, we are back in first place again, since we dodged a little Ferrari thing, and we look back to watch more smashing occur just behind us. Now, as you saw, the Ferrari got punted into a wall there. That was not my fault at all, but it is kind of funny just to gaze back and watch people be idiots and ram straight head-on into walls, thinking they must be able to, like, get more points from hitting a wall or something. I mean, we graze a pole there, go a little wide for a nicer racing line. Now, we did kind of cut a corner a little bit, but that does not flag my lap. We did hit some random guy's telephone pole, probably took out a few phone numbers there from his contacts, who cares. Anyways, we nail a racing line here as well, go a little wide. I honestly like this track quite a bit when the drivers are absolute garbage. So that's part of the reason why we're so far ahead up here, to be honest. Nothing really happened this race either, to be honest, so I'm just gonna skip to the end. Now around the final bend to the huge straightaway on this track, you can see just the sheer speed of this twerk stallion here. It can do about 220 to 230 miles an hour, and it has no problem getting there either. We take a nice little jump here and almost flip over somehow. I really don't know how we stayed on our wheels there, but we did, and we got first place. Now on my favorite track of the whole game, Grand High Speed Sprint for the fourth race. And of course we are starting just behind a freaking dune buggy out of all things that could be in this race. He also seems to be a pretty laggy dune buggy. It's almost like he's unleashing a sandstorm whenever he touches his left stick to turn. It's absolutely ridiculous. So coincidentally, he goes straight into the wall in the first corner. People honestly pick the weirdest cars and they expect not to, like, lose with them. It's just so weird. The GTR goes inside, but that screws up his racing line for this corner, so I'm able to pass him back easily. Then you can also see the dune buggy driver's mic going off like an AK-47 in the part in the game chat up there at the top right. Go check that out if you want. If you don't. Anyways, I'm gonna stop ranting about mics from this other stupid stuff and get on with the race. So we have a GTR on our butt as well as another Ferrari, and actually that Ferrari is the same one who let's just say attempted to sideswipe or corner bomb us in the first race. Now onto my favorite part of the track, which is this super long straightaway along the beach. We have a really tricky corner here. I screw up this corner quite a bit, but I absolutely nail it this time around. Now I can go to the right here for a quicker line, which I basically do it perfectly. And the Ferrari is right on us now. We do nail a couple corners though, and he goes a little wide there. I honestly don't know how he's like still on us when he goes really wide in all the corners. He must just have really superior straight line speed. So now we get onto another straightaway here, and he is still right behind us. I'm going to try to pull away here, but this Porsche doesn't have the best straight line speed. It's more suited to circuits. Anyways, if you want to buy this car, you're going to have to pay up front about 70 million credits for it. I'm not even exaggerating. This car was a Forza car and stupidly rare. Now, for another tactic of Horizon, we have him barely touch us and go for the nice wall kiss again. So we get right into a draft and just go right around him again. I'm so surprised he didn't bump us off there. It's ridiculous. So now we reclaimed our first position spot. We go down for a nice water splash, and here comes the notorious wall riding corner. He goes way inside, which screws up his line and hits the wall like I expected, which is why I went super wide. He reclaimed first position again, and we are going around the last few couple corners, which I almost pretty much get perfect. There could be a little more imperfections, but I'm not a perfectionist. Now, over here, if we go stupidly wide, we are able to get a faster line here. So I do this, and he goes straight for the wall. Now, I bump him back a little bit because that's what I do to rammers. Just for, like, you know, some vengeance and stuff.
Now,
and we get a pretty nice win here. That's all I got from you today. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.